Good evening. Welcome to our annual NCAA Student-Athlete Meeting. Thank you for tuning in. I've never thought that I would say that about an opening student-athlete meeting, but that's where we're at. And that's okay. This is one of my favorite nights of the year. We have over 500 student-athletes at Texas Lutheran, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the new faces this fall. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a different year, but we're going to get through it together. Together, we're going to make it a great year. My name's Bill Miller, and I'm the athletics director here at Texas Lutheran University. Now it's my privilege to introduce to you the president of Texas Lutheran University and a tremendous supporter of TLU athletics, Dr. Debbie Cottrell.
Hello, TLU student athletes. It's my pleasure as your president to welcome you back to campus and the fall semester of 2020. Though I'm coming to you in a remote format tonight, I want you to know how happy I am that you're back and how much I'm wishing that each of you have a very good fall semester. Now, I know that many of you have already had your semester impacted with the move of our fall sports to the spring. And I know that many of you also experienced disruption last semester when our spring athletics events ended abruptly. All of you, in one way or another, are having to work through what it means to be a college student athlete during a pandemic. As you do that, and as you start your semester here at TLU, please know that we will be working with you to provide the best experience possible for you. You know that your coaches are with you, and you've also got the support of all of our athletics staff, athletics director Bill Miller, and me. We are so glad that you're here, and we appreciate so much what you bring to our campus and what you mean in our community. And we're ready to support you as student athletes at TLU. Personally, while I'm so disappointed at the sports that we won't have this fall, I'm sure hopeful about a very busy spring with games and events filling up our days in ways we've never experienced before. Thank you for your part that you'll have in that, and thank you for being such an important part of our community. Go Bulldogs!
Thank you, Dr. Cottrell. We're very fortunate to have a president like Dr. Cottrell. She really understands how important the student-athlete experience is to the mission of Texas Lutheran University. On behalf of the Texas Lutheran University Athletics Department, I want to welcome you to the required NCAA Student-Athlete Meeting. Normally, we have everyone sign in to get a copy of the Student-Athlete Handbook, and it usually looks like this. But this year, things are going to be different, as I mentioned. In fact, almost everything will be different this year because of the unprecedented situation that we are all dealing with. But I assure you that it will be okay. The Student-Athlete Handbook can now be accessed online at TLUBulldogs.com under Inside Athletics. But you will still need to sign a document provided by your respective head coaches that confirms that you read and understand the Student-Athlete Handbook. By signing, you also are agreeing to abide by the policies in the handbook, so please get online and read the handbook. You never know, you might learn something new. Freshmen, you will learn a lot just by going through the handbook. As mentioned, when you sign the sheet provided by your head coach, you're acknowledging that you will read, understand, and abide by the principles in the TLU Student-Athlete Handbook. The first few pages of your handbook list all of our coaches and staff members. We have an outstanding athletics department staff, and it is my privilege to introduce them to you. We will do this alphabetically by sport. So we will start with baseball. Our new head baseball coach is Coach Rick Heines. He will be assisted by a new baseball assistant coach, Michael Bielamowicz, and a volunteer assistant coach, Ryan Jackson. Joey Deering will also assist in baseball again this year, but he will also assist sports information director, and he's been doing that for several years now. Many of our staff members at Texas Lutheran, not just in athletics, but all across the campus, wear different hats. So we're very fortunate that we have good people that can do that, and that's just the way it is at TLU. And so it's my privilege to work with many different people that do many different things. Next, we have men's basketball. Our head coach is Mike Wecker. He is assisted by Austin Falke. And Jordan Kite will be the graduate assistant coach this year. And again, former TLU All-American basketball player and Hall of Famer Steve Porter will serve as a volunteer assistant. Women's basketball. Our head women's basketball coach is Mel Dixon. Coach Dixon is also the facilities director. He will be assisted by associate head coach Troy Patterson. Coach Patterson is also our Title IX area coordinator for athletics. And as well as longtime assistant women's basketball coach Krystal Schneider. Cross-country track and field. Our head cross-country track and field coach is Coach Darlene Holland. She will be assisted by Nate Scales, Ben Wolf, who is also in charge of throws, and Kylie Garcia, who just graduated from TLU and was all region in cross country for the Bulldogs last year. Football. Our new head football coach is Coach Ricky Mott. He will be assisted by Brent Verzweibelt, Jody Ford, Tommy Holmes, Mike Norman, Jake Tingle, Johnny Garcia. Restricted earnings assistant football coaches Matt Gustafson, Garrett Garza, Manny Longoria. As some of y'all recall, Garrett and Manny were both tremendous players on our football team last year. Garrett was also a tremendous shot putter, one of the best in the nation. Student assistants will be Garrett Chalette and Ja'Cory Joseph. Our head golf coach is H.C. Tran. Coach Tran is also the athletic events coordinator. He will be once again assisted by Angela Heise, who is also a former TLU golfer. Men's soccer head coach is Eddie Salazar. He will be assisted by a new member of our staff, George Key, as well as Brian Wilson and Jimmy Flores, who have been assisting for several years now. Women's soccer, our head coach is Coach Larry Schaefer. He will be assisted by Dustin Gold and Krystal Wolf. Softball, head coach is Wade Wilson. He will be assisted by Olivia Van Hook, who is also our outdoor athletics facility director and ticket manager, James Fuquay, Ed Zarzabal, and Shelby Yonda. Men's and women's tennis. Head tennis coach is John Strahl. He will be assisted by David Miller. Volleyball, head volleyball coach is Phyllis Fowler. She's also our senior woman administrator. She will once again be assisted by Kathy Taylor. Now for our athletic staff. Our athletic training department is headed by Matt Matocha, who is our head athletic trainer. He is ably assisted by athletic trainer Amy Menzies and our new addition to our staff, athletic trainer Nicole Curtis. Sierra Villamere will again be our athletic training intern. This, I believe, is her last year, so we're glad to have her back. One more thing, the TLU Athletics Training Staff was honored as the SCAC Athletic Training Staff of the Year in 2019-2020. So congratulations to Matt, Amy, and the rest of the athletic training staff, along with all our student workers. Our Sports Information Director is Tim Clark. He is assisted, as I mentioned before, by Joey Deering. I would also like to add this time that the TLU Sports Information staff staff was the SCAC Sports Information Staff of the Year in 2019-2020. Congratulations to Tim and Joey. Our Athletics Administrative Assistant is Miss Jeannie Enlow. She's also our Compliance Coordinator. Our new Director of the Grossman Fitness Center and also Director of Campus Recreation and Aquatics is Coach Greg Burnett. He's making the transition from baseball to campus rec, so we're excited about what he brings to that program. Ashley Spahn returns as our cheerleader director. I usually have our cheerleaders stand, but since we're virtual this year, I want to thank the cheerleaders for their continued support of the TLU athletics program. They do a tremendous job. I think Ashley mentioned the other day that we have 12 cheerleaders plus a Bulldog mascot once again. Our faculty athletic representative is Dr. Robert Jonas. Dr. Jonas is a great contact for our athletics department. If you have a concern regarding a conflict between academics and athletics, Dr. Jonas is a good man to go to for advice. Dr. Jonas has been here, I think, a year longer than I have, maybe even longer than that, at least 29 years. He's one of the most respected faculty members across campus, so he can really help you out if you go and meet with him.
Four receivers set, 2-by-2 for Freeman, throws over the middle, caught by Charles Robinson, kiss him goodbye to the 10-5 end zone, touchdown.
Okay, then we move to the bulk of what's in our student-athlete handbook. It's the role of intercollegiate athletics at TLU, and this is indicated on page 6 in the handbook. The Texas Lutheran University Intercollegiate Athletics Program exists for the sake of the students at Texas Lutheran, for their growth and development. There are 3 goals that support this mission statement. 1, all entering first-year student-athletes will graduate at the same or higher rate as their entering cohort classmates. 50% of all student athletes who complete the academic year will achieve a grade point average of 3.0 or higher. This past year, 61% of our student athletes had a 3.0 GPA or higher, which is fantastic. Every student athlete who completes his or her eligibility is expected to graduate from Texas Lutheran. Number 2, each sport should aspire to be competitive at the national level. Look, we just don't want you to come to TLU to participate. We're glad you're here, but we want you to be the best that you can be. We compete to win here. Do not be content with mediocrity. You can ask anybody in our program. The object here is to win. And we strive to win championships. And we strive to be the best we can be in the classroom as well. Number 3, an efficient and cost-effective support system for the operation of the existing athletic program should be developed and maintained. Our facility services people, as well as our coaching staff, do a great job of keeping up the facilities here. We have good facilities, in some cases great facilities, so please take care of them. We're very proud of what we do have. On pages 8 and 9 in the Student Athlete Handbook, it also talks about the Student Athlete Advisory Council. Our supervisors are Miss Jeannie Enlow and Coach Olivia Van Hook. This council or committee is extremely important. Every NCAA institution has a Student Athlete Advisory Council, and there is a national Student Athlete Advisory Council. There will be members from each sports program that serve on this committee. Those of you that are selected to serve on this committee, please take your responsibility serious. If you can't attend meetings and understand how important your role is on this, please tell your coach, I can't do that. It's important that all delegates attend these meetings. This committee discusses athletic issues that are related to TLU athletics. In some cases, athletic issues related to our conferences, the SCAC or the ASC. And then They also discuss current legislation that exists in the NCAA or proposals that we're going to vote on at the National Convention in January. So your role on this committee is critically important. Next, what does the Texas Lutheran Athletic Department expect from our student athletes? Make sure you listen and read this. I'm not going to go through all of them, but it's found on pages 9 and 10. These expectations are identified in the Student Athlete Handbook. A few of them that I'm going to point out. Number one, dress appropriately at all times because you represent your sport and the university. Be professional. Have some class. You represent the TLU Athletics Department, your team, and yourself wherever you go. Attend all classes and be on time. The credibility of your program is built in the classroom. The goal of our athletic program is for each student athlete to get a degree. To do that, you have to go to class. Class attendance is mandatory. If you do not go to class, what message are you sending as a student athlete? Well, pretty simple, that you're just here to play a sport. I don't want to hear a faculty member saying that they have those concerns about you as a student athlete. You're here to get your degree. You're also here to play a sport and compete for championships. But your number one goal is to get your degree. So make sure you send the right message by going to class. You will not like every class. I hope you do like every class. If you do, that's great. But the chances are there's going to be one or two that, you could take or leave. My advice to you is to act like you love that class because professors view each class that they teach as critically important to the educational process. Student athletes need to give the professor the positive perception that he or she is engaged. Actions speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. It's what you do that's going to count. Students communicate to their professors and those around them even when not speaking. This is for all students, not just student athletes, but I'm mainly concerned about the impression that our student athletes give to our professors. A student athlete who falls asleep during class, what do you think the message is? Well, the message is that you don't care about your education. A student athlete who doesn't make eye contact with the professor, what's the message? That you don't care about your education. A student athlete who arrives late to class, again, same message, that you don't care. And if you don't care, you're probably in the wrong place. Next though, a student athlete who's attended and participates in class cares about their education. That's the message. A student who makes eye contact and even smiles at professors cares about their education. A student athlete who arrives to class on time shows that they care about their education. Which student athlete do you think is more likely to get help when they ask for it? I mean, that's an easy answer. Each student athlete must create credibility with every professor. Just because a certain sport has a great reputation academically, and there's a bunch of them that do, that doesn't mean that that's going to give you any free lunches in class. You're going to have to develop your own credibility as a student in that class. If you do, this reflects well on you as a student athlete and also reflects well on the sports program that you're a member of. Remember that you're not just representing yourself. You're representing something bigger than you. You're representing a whole team or a sport program. So how you do in class and on and off the field is critically important. Professors are human, just like everyone else. They respond to respect. Professors also have the power in the classroom. Don't be combative with professors. You won't win that battle. There's really nothing to negotiate. You just need to go in there and be the best you can be and be the best student you can be. If you miss a test because of a game, race, or tournament, It is the student's responsibility to make arrangements to take the test before the scheduled date, unless the professor indicates otherwise. Our professors want you to be successful, but you've got to earn that. Nothing's going to be given to you, so you've got to be professional, meet with professors, let them know you're not going to be in class, and make arrangements for makeups. Absolutely do not use athletics as an excuse for not completing an assignment. Do not say, my coach says I have to have all my classes in the morning because I need to leave afternoons open for practice. That's the wrong comment. Sometimes there's only one section of a specific class. If you need that class, you have to take it when it's offered. That's just the way TLU is. That's the way TLU has always been. If you can get your classes all taken care of in the morning, that means you might have to take an 8 o'clock class. How about that? That'd be good. And then you can, leave the afternoon open for practice. That's great. But if you can't and you get to practice late, our coaches understand that. Some of the facilities have lights, the outside facilities. In fact, all of them do. So if they want to adjust their practice times, they can. The coaches can. So anyway, make sure that academics is a priority. Don't ever give the impression that athletics is more important than your academic success, because it's not. Professors must be fair to all students in the class. Do not make them feel like they have to sacrifice their integrity and the integrity of the class because you're a student athlete. All of our students are important. If you want assistance, ask for it. No one makes assumptions regarding your commitment to education. We can't read minds. The campus is a lot of good people working here. There's not a single person, staff member, faculty member on this campus that will not help you if you ask for it. Use your resources. You paid for them. Use them, whether it be career counseling, international education, health and academic support. A lot of that is coming out of Student Life and Learning Office. Contact Malika Harvey. She can tell you where to go. Dean Kuros will help. Lisa Craddock. All these people, and there's a bunch more in there that I've failed to name, but that's a tremendous department, and they can help you. So if you do not know where to go, ask. Find a mentor in an area outside of athletics. Most of y'all came here because, you were recruited here. Maybe you came here because you really liked our head coach. I understand that. But once you get here, get connected across campus. That's going to increase your chances of having a successful experience here at TLU. There's a lot of people that can help you. You'll have an academic advisor. There's professors that you will connect with. A lot of those relationships will pay dividends even after you graduate from TLU. Each year it seems like we have more and more parents that want to give us advice on how to coach. Remember, you are no longer in high school, and TLU is certainly not a high school. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to coach you and not your parents. We appreciate the support of your parents. They're important to your success. However, if you have a problem, please set up a meeting with the coach to discuss the problem. Leave mom and dad out of it. We have limited space on campus, and we certainly don't have a dorm room or an apartment space that we can let your mom and dad live to help assist you. Next, respect and accept the decisions of the coach. Do not second guess your coach, whether it be on the bench, in the dugout, on the sideline, or in the locker room. Here's what you can do. There's a lot of ways to win, by the way. You can't use all of them. But if you think you have answers, wait till you get a degree then you go into coaching and then set up a meeting with your old head coach, and then you can come back and y'all can talk about strategy. How about that? I understand all y'all want to do well, but our coaches are highly qualified. And if you have a concern, please set up a meeting with them. Don't drag some of your teammates down talking about something that's not going to be productive. Treat all athletic equipment and facilities with respect. We have good facilities, as I mentioned earlier. In some sports, great facilities. Let's keep them that way. Maintain a positive attitude, which is essential for success on and off the field. That's going to be critical this year. Not only for me, our coaching staff, you, but for everybody. It's going to be a challenging year, but it's going to be okay. And by being positive, it's going to provide a pathway, through all of this. One more thing. If you do not agree with the decision made by a business office, the registrar, or professor, we haven't had this in a long time, but I've been here a long time, and I've seen where we've had student athletes, they get all upset and they think it's all about them, and they act like a jerk and start acting, that they're really mad. Well, so what? By losing your emotional composure, you have just lost credibility, not only for yourself, but also how you represented your team. So consequently, we're going to treat you like an adult. Please act like one. So in doing so, as I mentioned, you've sacrificed your team's credibility, and it even goes farther than that. You're part of something bigger, and you've got to remember that. Please follow the proper channels to fix any problem that you have. There is a line of communication. Follow that. Please make sure that you read and understand the athletic drug and alcohol policy printed on page 11 of your handbook. This is very important policy, and compromising it can disrupt your athletic career at Texas Lutheran University. Hazing policy is found on page 11 in your handbook. If you don't know what hazing is, I'm not going to go into it now. Hazing is a big deal, and if you do it, you may not be a student here, much less a student athlete. If you don't know what hazing is or confused about what might be hazing or what might not be, you either go to your head coach or you come talk to me. Hazing, we have zero tolerance for hazing at any level, whether it be Greek life, in athletic programs, or any level of committee work or program work here at Texas Lutheran. On page 12, you'll see a social media policy. Since we're in the age of Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, I don't even know how to do most of that stuff, and other forms of social media, it is critical that we develop a social media policy for our athletics department. That policy is outlined on page 12 in your handbook. Please take a moment when you have time to read it. It's important that you understand it. Services available for student athletes. Well, services that are available to you are also the ones available for all of our students. Like I said, Malika Harvey can provide a lot of information on this, but you can go to, talk to Lisa Craddock about academic support services, but there's academic counseling, tutorial assistance, and then there's disability services and mental health counseling. Our University Director of Counseling and Disability Services is Dr. Maureen Moriarty. She has revised a lot of the information we have in the student handbook, and this information is included on page 14. This all has to do with disability services and mental health counseling, and it could be very helpful to you while you're attending TLU, so please read that information. Next is eligibility. This is critical. If you're not eligible, you cannot participate, in a nutshell. Our compliance coordinator who monitors all this is Miss Jeannie Enlow, and she does a great job. Here's what you need to know about eligibility. and it's found on page 16 in your handbook. In order to participate in athletics, you must be enrolled in at least 12 credit hours and maintain a cumulative grade point average of 2.0 or better. For your freshmen, that's a C average. That's not hard to do if you go to class and listen and study. If at any time while at TLU you drop below 12 hours, you are immediately ineligible. If you're placed on academic probation, or you can even be on athletic probation if you fail a drug test, you are not eligible to compete. Consult with your coach prior to dropping any class or prior to repeating any course other than one where you received a grade of an F. It is imperative you have conversations throughout the semester with your coaches pertaining to your grades and GPA. Do not wait until it's too late to drop a course and or get help in class, which can and will affect your eligibility. When you come in as freshmen, all freshmen are eligible. The second season, when you're a sophomore, most of the time that means you're a sophomore. By that time, you can still be freshman status, but to compete a second season, you must have accumulated a total of 18 credit hours, be in good academic standing, maintaining a 2-point cumulative GPA, and making satisfactory progress towards a degree. To compete in a third season, usually that's junior status, not all the time, but most of the time. By that time, to compete a third season, you should have accumulated a total of 36 credit hours, be in good standing, and making satisfactory progress towards a degree. To compete a fourth season, which means usually during your senior season, you must have accumulated 54 credit hours and have a cumulative grade point average of 2.0 and make satisfactory progress towards a degree. Upon reaching 75 credit hours, you must have a degree plan on file in the registrar's office. Your academic advisor can help you with that once you get to that point, as well as Glenn Yockey, who's our registrar, and he does a great job. Please make sure you read and understand the institutional drug policy on pages 21 through 23. Make sure you read that. Don't get caught by surprise. We do drug tests, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And if you test positive, you have to pay consequences. So please make sure you understand the drug policy. Further, on page 24, we have also added a statement on racism. The TLU Athletics Department has zero tolerance towards racism. Racism has no place in TLU athletics. Not now, not ever. We will do everything in our power to ensure all students are treated equally and fairly, as everyone is valued. We are better because all of y'all are here. Please read the handbook, ladies and gentlemen. It can save you a lot of headaches. Use it to your advantage. Now it's my privilege to introduce our Sports Information Director, Mr. Tim Clark.
Coach Joey Deering and I manage TLUBulldogs.com and the official TLU Athletics social media accounts on Twitter, which is at TLU Athletics, and on Instagram and Facebook, and those accounts are at TLU Bulldogs. Our YouTube channel is TLU Bulldogs. Our office is responsible for managing your games with regard to statistics, music, announcing, live web streaming, live stats, photos, and social media. We are working now to populate all of the sport rosters online and update our input for the first time player info on each of you. Our office typically broadcasts around 110 games a year, all free to viewers, on our TLU Bulldogs Stretch Internet portal, which can be found on TLUBulldogs.com. We also direct many of your nominations for Player of the Week, All-Region, All-American, and Academic All-American. One quick word about dealing with the media. Any player or coach interview request should go through our office. If someone contacts you directly, without you first hearing from myself or Coach Deering, politely refer the reporter to the TLU Office of Sports Information. The reporter can email me, Tim Clark, at tclark@tlu.edu or Coach Deering at jdeering@tlu.edu. If you have any questions regarding TLU sports information or sports marketing, you can come by and see us in the Jones Complex down the Long West Hall. We're in Suite 144. Or you can reach out to us by email at those email addresses I just mentioned, tclark@tlu.edu and jdeering@tlu.edu. Thank you, and go Bulldogs.
Thank you, Tim. Now, it's my privilege to introduce our new Director of Campus Recreation, Coach Greg Burnett.
Welcome to TLU Student-Athletes. Glad to have you on campus. I know it's a strange start to the year, but wanted to talk to you a little bit about campus recreation and specifically the fitness center. Obviously, with the COVID-19 policies we have on campus, some changes have occurred in the fitness center. So I wanted to remind you of those and a couple of things that you can do at this point. You can go to mytlu.edu, click on the Student Life tab at the very top, go to the left-hand column and find the Campus Recreation folder, and you can see a lot of those changes, the hours that we're going to be open, which there are some expanded hours, but also some of the policies that we put in place to keep you guys safe while using our facility. So go to mytlu.edu, Student Life tab, and the Campus Recreation folder to find some more of that information. To help keep us at a 50% capacity in the fitness center, we've had to use the IM Leagues app or website to provide us a scheduling system. So you're going to need to go to IM Leagues and register with your TLU.edu email address to use the IM Leagues app. At that point, you can go to the Fitness Center Pool Reservations tab, and 24 hours prior to the session that you want to use it, those schedules should be available for you to schedule yourself in the fitness center. The schedules are only allowing for a 25-minute workout time, but you can schedule back-to-back sessions to give you a 50-minute workout session. A couple of other things. When you come to the fitness center, make sure you bring your ID, your campus clear attestation, and then also a mask. You have to have a mask on in the fitness center while you're working out. So those three things are important for you to remember when you do come in the fitness center. You can also use our IM Leagues app to see some of our intramural activity schedules this fall. We will have some activities. We won't provide the usual team sports like football and volleyball, 6-on-6 volleyball, but we will provide some other activities, and those schedules will come up soon. You can also go to geeks.gg and you can check out our esport offerings. We're going to provide some esport tournaments this fall for you guys that like to play games, Madden, Rocket League, Warzone, Fortnite. There's going to be some tournaments for you guys to participate with other members of the TLU campus. So go to geeks.gg and sign up and register as a TLU student. You can use your IM Leagues app, login information, and eventually those two platforms will start to interface, and you can use both, and you can see schedules on both of those apps. For both esports and on the IM Leagues, you'll be able to see the fitness center, Bulldog Gym when it opens up, and the pool. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TLU Recreation for more schedules regarding intramurals, the fitness center, Bulldog Gym, esports, and the pool openings, all coming this fall at some point. And as soon as we get that information, we will shoot it out to you guys as students. And like I said, I look forward to having you guys in. I know it's going to be different. There's going to be some headaches and some things that are a little inconvenient, but it's all designed to keep you guys safe this fall, and we'd love to have you in the fitness center. Love to get you guys moving again. And so if there's any questions you have, stop by the fitness center. You can talk to our workers, or you can talk to me if I'm available. So look forward to seeing you inside the fitness center. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach Burnett. Next is I'm going to introduce the head of our athletic training department, our head trainer, Mr. Matt Matocha. Matt is going to discuss a lot of things, which might include medical screening, sports medicine issues, banned substance list, COVID-19 safety protocols, and whatever else he wants to tell you. Matt is critical, has been critical, Matt and Amy especially have been critical in our developing plans for this upcoming year regarding, the pandemic.
Hey student athletes, welcome back. Glad to be talking to you even if it's over YouTube. A few things that I need to discuss with you about the upcoming sports seasons. First and foremost, obviously, the current COVID-19 virus. Basically, for us to move forward with our college sports seasons, we're going to need to all take an active part in mitigating or decreasing the risk of the virus. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple things, and unfortunately some of them are not all that fair for college students. First and foremost, make sure you wear your mask at all times, even if it's around the teammates that you trust and you know. For some of you, you're very close with each other, but we still need to mask up to make sure that we decrease the virus. Second, you're going to have to alter your behaviors and not act like normal college students. This is a huge ask, and I certainly understand that, but if we all want to move forward, unfortunately I think this is what we're going to have to do so that we can all play the sports for the reasons that you're here. So, second, screening this year is certainly going to be a little bit different as well. All the forms have been moved online. Most of you have completed your SWOL or sportswear forms at this point, but if not, go ahead, get logged in, get those forms completed. Once you have those done, then we'll be able to get you screened, which we will do by groups, set by teams and by days. You'll get that information from your coach in the upcoming days or weeks as we try to complete that process. TLU this year will continue to drug test, so make sure you are looking out for each other, hold each other accountable, be responsible. Last thing we want is a failed drug test to keep you from playing your sports. Within that drug testing category, CBD is definitely the hot item right now. It's a very gray area. Currently, the last time I checked, CBD is still banned by the NCAA, so be very cautious with it. Once you start looking into that, some of those products will actually contain THC despite the fact that they're not supposed to, thus can trigger a positive drug test. So please be very careful when it comes to CBD and just supplements in general. A few other additional items. Clinic rules this year are going to be a little bit different. Normally, we've always been first come, first serve, walk-in appointments. We are going to attempt to do sign up for appointments this year. We will send out basically a document letting you know how to go about that, but you will complete that process within Sportswear online. You can sign up for an appointment whenever we have availability, which will be 9 to 12 and 2 to 5. And then you can repeat those appointments as much as needed. So, last thing, just to cover our bases, within Sportswear, you all received a concussion educational piece as part of NCAA requirements. I just want to make a couple of highlights on that. The most important thing, obviously, is to try to prevent concussions. So not leading with your head when we're playing football, avoiding head-to-head contact as best as possible. Signs and symptoms to look for: headache and dizziness are the two most common signs and symptoms. Obviously, we can't take all concussions out of the game, so the most important part becomes treating them once you have sustained a concussion. What we have found is that individuals who play through concussions actually miss more games than those that don't. So if you think you have experienced a concussion, talk to a member of the athletic training staff so that we can get you taken care of and then get you back as soon as it's safe and possible to do so. If you have any questions or need our help, we are in the athletic training clinic, again, 9 to 12 and then 2 to 5. please come by and see us with an appointment this year, and we'll do everything we can to make sure you're taken care of. Thanks.
Last year was our 7th year in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. We also, in football, compete in the American Southwest Conference. So consequently, all of our sports are in the ASC. In the SCAC, only football competes in the ASC. Despite the shortened spring sports seasons and no spring sport championships because of the pandemic, we competed very well. The TLU football team finished 2nd in the ASC with an 8-2 record. The TLU men's soccer team won its first ever SCAC championship and its first conference championship in 17 years. The team also broke a school record for wins in a season with 15. The men's basketball team finished as the SCAC championship tournament runner-up. After winning the NCAA Division III National Championship in 2019, the TLU softball team was 19-1 and ranked number 1 in the nation when the pandemic had hit and stopped their drive for another national championship. At this time, we are pleased to present to you a video highlighting all of the accomplishments of TLU student-athletes and Bulldog athletics teams during the 2019-2020 academic year. Sports Information Director Tim Clark put this highlight video together for your viewing pleasure. Tim did a great job on this, and we hope that you enjoy it. Once again, great job, everyone. Congratulations. As mentioned, I mentioned before, this will be TLU's 7th year in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference and also as a member of the ASC. It will be the most challenging and unusual year we have ever experienced. However, it is also will be a year where everyone can compete for either conference championships or national championships in the spring. It will be an exciting spring semester, and we hope all of you work hard this fall in preparation for winning a championship this spring. You are the future of our success. You are the reason we do what we do. Thank you for your attention tonight. I want to wish everyone here the best of luck in that endeavor. We want to win championships. Thank you for your attention. Have a great year. Go Dogs!